Now, today for our daily cancellation, now that Christmas season has officially, or rather unofficially begun, officially the Christmas season actually starts on Christmas. I don't know if you knew that. I'm going to take a bold step that will only shock and offend you until you realize that I come not as your oppressor, but as your liberator. I seek to free you and free all of us, once and for all, from the tyranny of Christmas trees. Christmas trees are canceled. This madness has gone on for long enough. I'm drawing the line in the sand right now. No more Christmas trees. We are done with Christmas trees. Now, it may come as a surprise, but the early Christians never thought to cut down a tree and put it in their house for 3 weeks as part of their Christmas celebration. One could only imagine how the conversation would have went had anyone suggested something like that. Hey, it's almost Christmas. What do you say we go and chop down that perfectly healthy tree out there, drag it inside, and watch it slowly die? It'll be so festive. The idea probably would not have been warmly received. And that's why nobody had a Christmas tree until some depraved lunatic in Germany, as always, in the 19th century decided that there weren't enough distracting hassles associated with the holiday and came up with this idea. And it was the worst thing anyone had done related to Christmas since St. Nick started the whole gift-giving thing, which is another problem in of itself. Now, admittedly, this history of Christmas and its traditions may not be entirely technically accurate, but that's not the point. The point is that we are all burdening ourselves with this demented custom for no reason. So there are, of course, two ways to approach the problem of obtaining, transporting, and erecting a tree inside your living room. This, again, is a problem of our own making. It's like if we're all stressed out about how to capture a squirrel from the forest and train it to do jumping jacks. The most stress-free way of doing that is to not do it because it's bizarre and pointless. And there are a million better ways to spend your time. But as far as trees go, you have two options, right? You can go out and buy a real tree, or you can purchase an imposter, a fake tree, an avatar of a tree. The problem with the fake tree is that it's a fake tree. It's expensive and clunky. It doesn't actually look anything like a real tree, much less does it smell like one. So it's always awkward when you go to someone's house and they have a fake tree and they go, "Doesn't it look real?" No, it doesn't. Have you ever seen a real tree? They're outside. You should go check them out. Because this doesn't look anything like it. See, whatever joy there is to be gained from a Christmas tree, you aren't going to get it from a fake one. A family with a fake tree has given up. They are just checking the tree box, trying to slide by on a technicality. You might as well put a deflated basketball on your porch at Halloween instead of a pumpkin. The stand-in is significantly more depressing than just not having it at all. So that doesn't work. But the real tree is worse. First of all, it's going to run you upwards of $75 these days. $75 for a hunk of lumber that will be decaying in a heap on your front lawn in less than a month. You could buy a bottle of Blanton's Single Barrel Bourbon, Elijah Craig Barrel Proof even, for that price. And it will make you far jollier than any Christmas tree ever will, I assure you. So after you've been basically stripped naked and robbed by the Christmas tree salesman, you schlep the thing back to your house, you drag it inside, pine needles falling and dispersing themselves into areas of the house that you won't notice until sometime after Memorial Day. Then begins the process of somehow getting this whole entire actual tree to stand up straight in your house with nothing but a plastic tree stand and a couple of screws keeping it in place. If you do get it to stay in place, it'll inevitably be knocked over multiple times by the dog, the cat, your kids, people and pets getting practically crushed to death left and right. Meanwhile, the thing requires about 19 gallons of water a day just to keep it alive, and barely so. Now you have a half-dead, dried-out chunk of wood in your house with electrical wires draped around it. Maybe next we can develop an Easter tradition where everybody jumps into a pool and plays catch with a toaster plugged into an extension cord. And then what happens as soon as Christmas is over? It's like waking up with a hangover. You look at that thing and all of the joy and spirit is sucked out of it. Now you see it for the giant pile of sticks that it always was, and you just want it out of your house. Literally the day after Christmas, you're looking at your tree with disgust. Everybody does. Or if you have a fake tree, you just put off the hassle of taking it down for months until you finally get around to it, only because you don't want people judging you when they come over for your 4th of July barbecue. So the whole thing is madness, and it must end. We must free ourselves. We must stand up with one voice and refuse to be enslaved to this lunacy. It's gone on for too long. It ends today. Christmas trees are canceled once and for all. And that's going to do it for me. My wife wants to go get a Christmas tree today, so we're going to go do that. Speaking of not practicing what you preach. Well, I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Matt Walsh Show. If you did, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right down there so you can stay up to date on all of our future content.